Howdy, gang. I wanted to start off today's show with a bit of a serious note. So, today happens to be Wednesday, May 30th, and this marks the 110th episode of The Daily Dope. And I just wanted to say, if you have ever tuned in to an episode of The Daily Dope and you didn't enjoy it, if you didn't care for it, I do have to point out I was streaming while I was on Ambien. Yes, that's right. Streaming while on Ambien. And we know what happens when people take Ambien and they get online. So, just wanted to point that out. And also, the Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, howdy, gang. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I am back once again. I'm Jeff McAleer. I'm your host here at The Daily Dope, as well as the Grand Poobah of the GamingGang.com. And of course, the opening was a joke. If you have been following online, you know that Roseanne Barr explained her racist tweets yesterday was a result of taking Ambien, which is a sleep aid. It's kind of a like anti-insomnia drug or something like that. And I have to laugh because the makers of Ambien replied and said, "Hey, just so you know, racism is not a side effect of taking our drug," or I guess any of their drugs. So I thought that was kind of funny. So of course, yes. So yes, Ambien is my excuse. Explanation if you don't like the Daily Dope. So, just kidding. Anyway, I am starting out the show today 30 minutes early. Reason is I have to go watch my niece and nephew today and tomorrow because my brother as well as my sister-in-law are both out of town. So I was planning on going over there later on this afternoon after doing, a regular scheduled show. But it turns out that my brother and sister-in-law actually left last night. I thought they were leaving this morning. So the kids have been hanging around by themselves for a while. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the kids are fine. My nephew's 16, my niece is 12. But still, they're out of school, just. So I figured I'll go over there, keep an eye on them, make sure that they're, they get like home-cooked meals. Otherwise, they're just throwing, little taquitos or whatever those things are called into the microwave, and come on, that's not real food. Anyway, so wanted to start about a half hour early so I can finish up the show and then pop over. So I did mention yesterday I was going to do a how to play and a bit of a review for Fields of Fire from GMT Games, but because I am going to be popping out of here as quickly as I can, I am not. I have kind of switched up what I'm doing on today's show. Reason being, Fields of Fire takes quite a while to set up and to break down. I can't leave stuff set up down here in the duct tape studios because the two kitties sleep down here and they are known to just knock things all over the place if I leave it out on tables and that. So I am actually going to be taking a look at the Dark Eye Aventuria Bestiary today. I have not cracked this open. It is still in the shrink wrap. And I know a lot of people were very, very interested in learning more about the Bestiary because there was some confusion if this was available in print or not. And I will kind of talk about that when we do the look through, because we're going to take a deep dive into it. And we're going to take a look through the entire book. It's about 140 pages, I do believe. Anyway, I will do that in just a bit, but first let's jump into the news because I actually have a good amount of gaming news today. And first off, Dynamite Entertainment and Lynn Vander Studios are preparing to team up for another board game based on a movie/comic property. Oh yes, that's right. So I've got the dope on Army of Darkness. Hoo-hoo. Army of Darkness is a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players that can be played in 60 to 90 minutes. In this action assignment area control game, you play as Ash and his allies, and work together to fight off swarms of Deadites, commanded by Evil Ash and Evil Sheila. Upgrade your defenses with modern technology from the trunk of Ash's car, and stop the Deadites from overtaking the castle. Each turn, players have a limited time to simultaneously play move, attack, action, and special cards in order to defend the various sections of the castle. After time is up, resolve your chosen cards and play out your programmed actions, rolling dice to attack Deadites. Survive long enough to use the Necronomicon to save Sheila and take down Evil Ash to win the game. Do want to mention, you might be concerned with another game about Ash Williams and the Evil Dead series after the Space Goat Kickstarter fiasco, where the company raised nearly $750,000 but failed to produce a game based on Evil Dead 2. Have no fear though, because Dynamite's association with this property is long-standing. Army of Darkness was the first license we signed at Dynamite, and it still holds a very special place in our heart, says Dynamite CEO Nick Barucci. Of the Space Ghost Kickstarter, Barucci said, "Obviously, we have no inside information here, as we have nothing to do with that game. Space Ghost's license is with the Evil Dead licensor. I don't have any more info than anyone else does publicly. I do hope that for the fans' sake that they are able to finish and deliver the game. Our license is with MGM based on the Army of Darkness feature film and different from theirs. Our game launches in the near future and stands on its own." I do believe that this will be coming to Kickstarter. That has kind of been the MO for Dynamite's Entertainment and Lynn Vanner Studios team-ups. So they did Red Sonja. That is not out yet. That was a couple of months back. They did that board game. And of course, Reanimator, which I reviewed recently. That was another team-up between Dynamite as well as Lynn Vanner Studios. So once I know when this hits Kickstarter, I will let you know. Now, there's big news as Fantasy Flight Games is going to release a new edition of Cosmic Encounters to mark the 42nd anniversary of the board game. I don't know what's making a 42nd anniversary so exciting or so important, but there is a brand new edition, and I've got the dope. In the far reaches of space, the aliens of the cosmos vie for control of the universe. Alliances are constantly forged and broken in the pursuit of power as starships journey from planet to planet, ready to build colonies and battle foreign powers, ensuring the survival of their people as they spread throughout the stars. Fantasy Flight Games is proud to announce the upcoming release of Cosmic Encounter 42nd Anniversary Edition. But it's... yeah, I guess it is Cosmic Encounter. It's not Cosmic Encounters. Now is the perfect time to return to Cosmic Encounter, or to experience the classic game of intergalactic colonization for the first time. Cosmic Encounter 42nd Anniversary Edition will become the new standardized version of the game when it hits shelves in the third quarter of 2018, and it remains compatible with all existing Cosmic Encounter expansions. At the dawn of a forgotten age, the precursors, I guess that is correct, precursors, sought intelligent life in the cosmos, only to discover that they were alone. Feeling the weight of their solitude, they sent the seeds of life to thousands of planets in the hope that sentience would follow. But before they could see the fulfillment of their legacy, they disappeared. Now the species that sprung from the precursors' efforts populate thousands of solar systems, with only the remnants of their creators' technology to guide them. Without the guiding hand of the elder race, these aliens fall to squabbling amongst themselves and battle for supremacy over the stars. In Cosmic Encounter 42nd Anniversary Edition, let's not forget that. As in previous editions of the game, you're invited to become the leader of your own unique alien species, seeking to expand the reach of your civilization across the cosmos. You will launch the spaceships of your fleet through the hyperspace gate to reach planets beyond your home system where, with your own cunning and a bit of luck, you just might establish a colony. If you can successfully establish 5 of your colonies on foreign planets, you will earn victory and your species' supremacy will be assured. Cosmic Encounter is for 3 to 5 players, ages 14 and up, and plays in about an hour or 2. This is a third quarter release, but there's no MSRP announced as of yet. Full disclosure, I have never played Cosmic Encounter. I know, pretty strange seeing I have been gaming for decades. I seem to recall knowing a couple of people who had the game, the original game, or at least the original pretty nice looking edition. Gosh, I want to say Cosmic Encounter was Avalon Hill at some point. Almost positive. Yeah, I think it was. But maybe not. I don't know. I never played it. And I think one of the reasons I never played was because it was not really dripping and heavy in theme at that point in time. And in my younger years, and even to this day, I tend to really like big, kind of epic, sort of, thematic games. And Cosmic Encounter at that point just didn't do that for me. But, I mean, it's a classic. A lot of people love it. I'm sure, if I played it, I'd probably dig it myself. Just have to be honest, I've actually never played. Speaking of classic games, Ares Games has revealed plans to bring the 1996 game City of Chaos back to the masses next year, and I've got the dope. Ares Games announces an agreement with game designers. Let's get that out there, Jeff. See, it's that ambient. The ambient's kicking in. I'm teasing. Anyway, Ares Games announces an agreement with game designers Martin Oliver and Colin Thornton to publish a renewed, updated edition of City of Chaos, a breakthrough board game originally published in 1996, and one of the first board games to use extensive storytelling in their gameplay. The new edition is planned to release in the second half of, unfortunately, 2019. In City of Chaos, the fantasy board game, players explore the twisting, smog-filled streets of Byronitar? The City of Chaos. The city and its inhabitants are in the grip of a strange, entropic force threatening to rip the city apart. Players must uncover the clues which will lead them to the sources of chaos to restore order to the city. Byronitar? I think it's Byronitar. Is a richly detailed setting which offers an immersive experience to players. The game uses a random plot and world generator which ensures that no two games are ever alike and combines features such as tile laying to create the game board, random events, combat, and role-playing. Players can improve their characters by enrolling in many strange guilds like the Somatologists, pacifists and healers, or the Numenologist, use your breath as a physical force. The eccentric atmosphere of Byronitar is generated from the Tome of Chaos, with hundreds of unique paragraphs and interactions. The players must explore the city, uncover its locations, and interact with its unusual denizens to discover one of the multiple sources of the chaos plaguing the streets. I hate when chaos plagues the streets. Byronitar is unlike any other place you have experienced. City of Chaos is an imaginative game with a unique setting and an innovative use of storytelling. It was groundbreaking when it was first published, and more than 20 years later, it still has a cult following. We are very excited to bring it back to the market with a new edition, improved and updated, as we feel it can still be a strong addition to today's gaming scene, said Roberto DiMeglio, Director of Research and Development at Ares Games. We are so excited with the agreement with the team at Ares Games, an exceptional quality publisher. Most of all, we'd like to thank the dedicated players on Board Game Geek that kept the game alive. Now we're off for a wild ride through the streets with the Lord of Demons. Join us soon, declared the game's authors, Martin Oliver and Colin Thornton. I do not have really much info as far as MSRP because we're still looking at more than a year out. In fact, the image that was included with the news piece from Ares Games is actually the previous edition's game box. And if you notice, if you're watching on a bigger screen, quality of that image isn't all that great because it was actually very small. I had to enlarge it to fit on the news slide going past. But anyway, sounds interesting. I am completely unfamiliar with this game. I don't know anything about this. I honestly, until the news piece popped, I knew nothing about it. I've never heard of this. So this could be kind of interesting, sort of in an Arabian Nights sort of way. It seems like there's a lot of story passages, a lot of story paragraphs in the game, but a lot of random generation as far as the world and things like that. So sounds kind of cool. Anyway, for the family gamers out there, later this year, Stronghold Games will be publishing the final entry in Uwe Rosenberg's tile-laying trilogy. And I've got the dope on Spring Meadow. The first delicate flowers herald the end of a harsh winter. The sun shines longer day by day and pushes the snow back. Lush meadows bloom and curious marmots slowly awaken from hibernation. Finally, spring is coming into the mountains, the perfect time for a hike. Choose your route carefully. Watch out for the burrows of the marmots. Are they marmots or marmots? Do not know. And pack enough snacks for yourself and the little creatures. I guess you're going to feed them snacks too, maybe? Probably not. Your chances to earn an Edelweiss hiking pin are rather low if you sit hungry in the snow. Spring Meadow is the grand finale of Uwe Rosenberg's puzzle trilogy following 2016's Cottage Garden and 2017's Indian Summer. The complexity of this game, the most interactive of the trilogy, is set in between those two games, and fans of the trilogy will find familiar elements combined in an innovative way. Place your meadow tiles with 0 to 2 holes skillfully on your mountain board to receive extra tiles when creating or expanding groups of holes. Find your way around the burrows. There's just an obvious joke I could go with there, but I'm going to keep it family friendly and not do that. Find your way around the burrows because they can restrict you during tile placement. Scoring takes place depending on the player's selection of meadow tiles from a central game board. Whoever has the largest meadow during a scoring receives a hiking pin. Woohoo! And the first player to earn their second hiking pin during scoring wins the game. There are new puzzle challenges which are guaranteed with 172 tiles in 49 shapes. Spring Meadow is for 1 to 4 players ages 10 and up and plays in around 15 to 60 minutes. I have to say I'm a bit up in the air on a release date for the game. It could be as early as July. I am not positive. It's not actually on Stronghold Games' website as far as a release, so I don't know. But I have seen kind of like pre-order for like July on, like online websites, right? Online retailers. So I do not know. I do know that it will carry an MSRP of $59.95. Huh. I have not played any of Mr. Rosenberg's designs, as far as I understand, and I dig tile-laying games. I find them very relaxing for some strange reason. I know some people, especially like a Carcassonne sort of game, right? Some people get a little like flustered when it's like, oh, where should I put this? I don't know. I don't know. To me, I kind of kick back and I'm like, yeah, I never approached kind of like a tile laying game in a like, oh man, gotta win. More like, oh hey, that's nice. So anyway, the latest issue of Tabletop Gaming Magazine has arrived. And I've got the dope. In a special bumper-sized celebration of the greatest games of all time. What is What is bumper sized? I mean, I know what a bumper crop is, but a bumper sized magazine? Okay, all right. And I can't say this is, translated because this magazine's out of the UK. So, I mean, I know our English is a little different between two countries and that, but I don't know. English in the US and English in Britain are kind of similar. Anyway, in a special bumper-sized celebration of the greatest games of all time, we count down the 150 best board, card, miniatures, and role-playing games ever made, as decided by you. Well, not me, but I as voters for the magazine. As well as running through the rankings, we get famous fans of some of the biggest games to tell us how they fell in love with the tabletop titans, say that 5 times fast, and answers some of the burning questions about what's better. After completing his acclaimed North Sea trilogy of Viking games, designer Shem Phillips talks to us about his next series set in the West Kingdom, beginning with this year's Architects of the West Kingdom, and our latest How We Made, one of the tabletop's most prolific creators. What the hell? I swear to God, this is an English language magazine. Do they not actually like edit their own press release here? In our latest How We Made. Okay. Right there kind of sounds weird, because you're going to have to talk to more than one creator, right? If it's a single person, you can't call it How We Made. It's How I Made. Anyway, plus it says one of the tabletop's most prolific creators. Makes absolutely no sense. This is a professional magazine. Anyway, they talked to Reiner Knizia on a trip back to the game that made his name an icon. Reiner Knizia, okay. You couldn't find somebody else to talk to? Sorry, I'm not going to knock on Reiner Knizia too much, but please, there are way more entertaining and much more relevant designers these days than Reiner flippin' Knizia. All right, moving right along. Anyway, they talked about Tigris and Euphrates. Hot from making millions on Kickstarter, the creators of the new Fireball Island tell us about resurrecting the 80s classic with a remastered and expanded version of the marble rolling favorite. Listen up! Gamers and musicians are bringing cinematic soundtracks and atmospheric sound effects to board games. They are? Okay. Then they tell us how you can enhance your gaming by pressing play. Flash Gordon is back in a gloriously adventurous RPG that pays tribute to the sci-fi hero, from his pulp origins in comic strips to the cult movie soundtracked by Queen. Writer Scott Woodward joins us to save the universe. He's the man behind the unmistakable artwork of Munchkin, Cash and Guns, and more. Wait a second. Should have been a break there. So talking about the Flash Gordon RPG, which is actually very cool for Savage Worlds, so okay. Then, he's the man behind the unmistakable artwork of Munchkin, Cash and Guns, and more. In his own words, John Kovalik explains how the Illuminati, O.J. Simpson, and Watchmen turned his cartoons into an icon of the tabletop. Then there's the Star Wars Legion painting guide, as we join the Rebel Alliance and bring the allies of Luke, Leia, and Han to life. The July 2018 issue of Tabletop Gaming is available digitally as of today for $8. And they also point out they've got like 20 reviews in this magazine, so I'm kind of getting the feeling that this magazine is probably sort of like the USA Today of tabletop games, where it's like, here you go, here's your quarter-page article. Don't know. But $8 for a digital magazine, a little pricey, but you can also get a physical copy of the magazine for about the same price. But unfortunately, since it's published in the UK, the shipping will actually run you more than the actual magazine. Honestly, I thought the magazine looked kind of cool, but reading their press release, it's like, God, I hope it's better writing than that. Better grammar, too. It's horrible. Terrible. Alrighty. So, that is the news of the day. yeah, man, I just that was weird. That tabletop gaming press release just read very bizarrely. It didn't come across that strange when I first glanced at it earlier today when I included it into the news. Don't know. Anyway, before I dive into the Aventuria Bestiary, do want to mention an item that is kind of going hog wild all over the internet. No, and I'm not talking about Ambien. But Andrew Lincoln's going to leave The Walking Dead following this season. So we already knew, isn't it Laurie Cohen? Isn't that the actress's name who plays Maggie? I might be getting her name wrong. She was already out after this season too. In fact, I believe she was going to be featured less this season as well because she's in a pilot for an ABC series. So once we heard AMC didn't want to fork up the extra dough to keep her on board, and I noticed that that she was going to be in this ABC pilot, I figured, yeah, that's pretty much the end of Maggie. But now it turns out it is also going to be the end of Rick Grimes as far as The Walking Dead. Now, I do not know if now they're maybe deciding that they're going to wrap the series after this season. Now, I have heard that AMC has offered Norman Reedus some big bucks to stay on and kind of become the lead character of The Walking Dead. And I gotta say, you know, I like the character of Daryl. Don't get me wrong. And I hear I hear Norman Reedus. I heard Andrew Lincoln's cool too, but I heard Norman Reedus is a really good guy, real down to earth. I've actually seen some video of him at cons. Seems very cool. Seems like he enjoys a little bit of the herb before the show, if you catch my drift. But I can't see that character leading The Walking Dead because he's not really. He's a major character on the show, but he's too quiet. He's too reserved. I can't see them making him the lead character. Now, if it was a movie, yeah, you could say, yeah, 2 hours of that is as the lead character. Yeah, okay. Someone who's kind of, you know, the man with no name, right? Got all those old Clint Eastwood westerns, the spaghetti westerns. He didn't say a whole lot, but as an ongoing series, I don't see it. What I could consider seeing them doing is maybe taking Fear the Walking Dead and combining some of the cast from The Walking Dead for either one of the shows. Either make it Fear the Walking Dead or continue it on as The Walking Dead. But without Rick Grimes, I don't see the series really continuing. And, gotta be honest, ratings have been down. And I've been watching Fear the Walking Dead, and it's gotten to the point where I really like Fear the Walking Dead much better than The Walking Dead. Especially after last season, did not care for the character development for Rick Grimes. And once again, they've dragged out the whole Negan storyline over 2 seasons. It should have just been 1 season for All Out War. Anyway, but a little disappointing because I like Andrew Lincoln. But then again, come on. The guy will have given 9 years of his life to The Walking Dead. That's a long time. Most TV series do not last anywhere near 9 seasons, and when they do, they usually do not have the same major character throughout the whole run. So, anyway, hey, I see Drew Barbier is popping in to say howdy. So yes, Drew started the show about 30 minutes early. So, I don't know, did I mention chat is available? I don't know if I did or not. I usually forget when I'm getting the show started up, jumping in the show, but do want to point out, chat is available through YouTube. It's not on screen, but I do keep an eye on it. So if you say howdy, or if you got a question, comment, anything like that, feel free, chime on in. All right, before I jump into the bestiary, I do want to point out there is no show tomorrow. Simply as I mentioned, the reason why I was doing the show early is because I have to keep an eye on my niece and nephew for the next couple of days. So there's no show tomorrow. Hopefully I can get back early enough to do a show on Friday. I do not know what might be going on as far as my brother and sister-in-law getting back. But one thing I can say, granted, not going to be a show, but I am going to get some gaming in. I'm going to get some gaming in tonight. I'm going to get some gaming in tomorrow because the kids are both out of school for the summer, so that's pretty cool. So going to get some gaming in. Going to play some stuff that we've played before. I've got a few games that I need to get at least one more playthrough to be able to review. Not big major games, but a few smaller games. And we're going to start prepping up for the role-playing through Fantasy Grounds. So that's going to be pretty cool. I'm going to do a little Call of Cthulhu, then I'm going to do some 5th edition D&D. So that's, I mentioned that yesterday, and I am going to actually record the Fantasy Grounds adventures, the sessions and that, and put them up on the channel. I don't know. I don't know if people are going to, want to watch them or not, but I will point out that if you do watch some of these, like Fantasy Grounds streams, my game mastering technique is way different. I'll tell you that right now. So, anyway, yeah. So, Friday show, hopefully there's a show. I don't know what I'll be tackling. So Drew's chiming in saying, dang, missed the news. I started the show early today. So, I popped that out on Twitter that the show was going to start about 30 minutes early because I have to kind of shoot out of here quick. As I mentioned, I got to go keep an eye on my niece and nephew, and because my brother and my sister-in-law are in New Orleans. They're taking a couple of days to enjoy going down to Louisiana. So anyway, there has been talk. People were curious about the Dark Eye Bestiary, and it is available. It is a real book. I have it. I received this from Ulisses North America as part of that huge package of goodness from Ulysses. So today I'm going to take a look at it. The Aventuria Bestiary is written by Dominic Klodek, Marie Monkemeyer, Alex Moore, and Jens Ulrich. And of course, I'm mispronouncing all these names, not on purpose. It's accidental, so I apologize right up front. When we get on to the artists and butcher their names, unfortunately. Art is provided by Janina Robin, Nadine Shakel, Fabrice Weiss, Elizabeth Landman, Fabian Schemp. Yeah, I guess it would be Schemp. Close to it. Helga Balzer, Julia Metzger, Axel Sorwald, Annika Amar, Elif, oh my gosh, Sebemphier? Sorry. Tristan Deneke, Elizabeth Landma, Verena Biskup, Malte Zerbel, Maurice Reedy, and Sebastian Watzel. Wow. Hopefully I got maybe 2 of those correct. The 130-page book is available in hardcover for $29.99. There's a softcover pocket edition, which is available as well for $19.99. And it is in PDF through my friends over at Drive-Thru RPG for $10.49. So, let's switch on over to the other camera. Let's plop this baby down. Get this out of the way. All right, so this is the Aventurian Bestiary, and if you have followed recent episodes of the Daily Dope, I have shown off the core rulebook for the Dark Eye. Also showed off the almanac, the Aventurian almanac for the Dark Eye. Today's the Bestiary. I still have the compendium to take a look at, and also I have the it's an adventure pack. It's a what was it called again? Tales of Dragons and Thieves. And then I also have like the Game Master screen. Some of these I might combine together. I've got some decks of cards as well that maybe I'll kind of combine those, and we'll take a look at those all together. So there was like a little bit of confusion, and I hope I was not adding to this confusion, as I might as well take the shrink off. Whereas, was this book available in print? And because there are quite a lot of books for the Dark Eye that are available. Of course, the game has been around for over 30 years. It's the most popular role-playing game in Germany. And of course, a lot of the materials are being, for the 5th edition, this is the 5th edition of the Dark Eye, a lot of these materials are being translated to English. But there are still a lot of books that have not been translated into English as of yet. And one is the Magic book, which I know a lot of people have been really looking forward to seeing. Now, word broke recently, in fact, someone had commented on a previous video that there is a Kickstarter coming for the Magic book. And that is true. I did check, and it is coming sometime this year. That's all we know, that there will be a Kickstarter for the Magic book at some point this year, because it is a kind of a necessary tome for people who really want to run the Dark Eye in its entirety. So you've got the core rulebook. This is the Bestiary. So this is supposed to contain, I believe, 40 monsters, and then I think 24 like creatures, more like natural creatures that characters could run into. So anyway, yeah, there was a little misconception on, is this book available? And you know, I've had it. I've had it as part of the package that was sent. So hopefully folks did not get the impression that I did not know that this existed, that it was out in print, because I did. The only thing that I've talked about a bit is the Magic book. And a lot of people are really waiting for that Magic book because it's sort of like, I believe, kind of like the 3rd volume that you really kind of need to have. So I do want to mention that be on the lookout. The news hasn't broken just yet. Speaking of Ulisses North America, one of the games that everybody's looking forward to that's going to premiere at Gen Con this year is the Warhammer 40K role-playing game, Wrath and Glory. There is going to be a pre-order that's going to come out, and I think it's in the next few days. I do not know exactly when. That's why I haven't done a news piece on it yet. But it's looking really cool, and there's some bundles that are just going to knock your socks off of all the stuff that's going to be available. Now, of course, all of this isn't going to release day one. I believe that's just a core rulebook that's coming out at Gen Con. But we're not here to talk about Warhammer 40K. We're here to talk about the Dark Eye Bestiary. So as I mentioned, 130 pages. And once again, really nice job with the print. Once again, there's almost a little bit, almost like a 3D element to the book itself, because they've got the matte and then we've got the gloss. So really nice, pretty cool. So let's dig on in, take a peek, see what we got. So we got a preface. Oh, well, hey, getting a little dinosaur action here. Looks like the T-Rex. So description format, new combat special abilities. So we had a few new special abilities. Oh, actually quite a few. What is it, about 10? Looks like 10 new combat special abilities. Now we get chapter 1 is the monsters. So we are going to see that each of the monsters is going to have their stat block. Going to have a bunch of information about the monster. I wonder if they're going to be devoting 2 pages to each one. So that is a very different looking basilisk than what we're used to seeing in, say, a Pathfinder or in Dungeons and Dragons. One thing I do pretty much understand is that a lot of times with the Dark Eye, a lot of the monsters, a lot of the creatures, things like that, are going to be a little more realistic, a little more naturalistic than what you might see in other fantasy role-playing games. We're not going to run across like beholders and things like that in the Dark Eye. So a beast stinger? Okay. Are these like large animals. Kind of like talking animals. Oh, they're fairy creatures that take on animal-like shapes. Okay. It's got a blossom fairy. Oh, it's like a giant mosquito. Somebody get the raid. A bound soul. Yep, so it looks like we're getting a couple of pages devoted to each of the monsters. And we have Cyclops, a death squirrel. Okay. Wasn't that in Monty Python and the Holy Grail? Oh no, that was a rabbit. It's just a rabbit. So we got demons. Yep. Karakil. It's like some sort of like flying snake. Carminoth, kind of like maybe almost like an ice wolf. Ice wolfish kind of monster there. Is Zarin? Or no, I'm sorry. I thought that was an I and a Z. It's an L. Duh. Alaran? It's like, I guess it's kind of a demon of some sort. Yeah, as I can see right here that let's get a little glare on there. Let's try to get, there we go. It's a little bit better. Grab a sip real quick. I can see that a lot of these aren't just rehashes of stuff that it's like, oh, hey, it's the typical, it's the typical kobold, typical goblin. Now, we may see those in here, although I think goblins are already tackled in another book. All right, hey, so Pinky came strolling on down. Hello, Pinky. You're like, hey, I see you're having a show here. Let me chime in and be loud. Pinky, what's the matter, kid? Come on, relax. Just had some food. Just popped over there, just had some food. Now she's like, wow. All right, relax, kiddo. So we got a Zant. Seem to be like a lot of animal-ish kind of creatures here. Dragons. Cave dragon. Wyvern. Giant wyvern. Glacier worm. So it looks like these are all sort of dragonish here. Pit worm. A tree dragon. Kind of surprised that the dragons aren't just, here's the category dragon, and then say, tree dragon, and now we're on to the ghoul. Giant stag beetle. Going to a giant stag party. Ha! I don't even know if they even utilize that term anymore, stag party. A gorger. Okay, so that's the thing that looks like the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Griffin. Some of the artwork's really good, and I've noticed a couple of pieces of artwork that are kind of like, a little hit or miss there. Grom? I don't know what they are. Kind of like a evil gnome, almost, maybe? I don't know. A butterfly. There we go, there's a kobold. Ha ha! Who looks quite different than your typical fantasy kobold. Because kobold in Europe is like elf. They're almost like elves. What is it, Scandinavia? I think it's Scandinavia where kobolds are kind of like almost interchangeable with elves. But usually, a lot of times in like Dungeons and Dragons, for an example, kobolds are actually draconic, so they're more lizard-like as opposed to like that kind of kobold. All right, Manicore. For a second, I thought this said Mary. It's Maru. Like Mary. Yes, the evil Mary. Watch out. So that's kind of an alligator. Not like alligator man. But just like a lizard man. Minor spirits. It's like he'd be popping up for Halloween. Talking about the different kinds of minor spirits. The Morphu almost looks like some sort of a slug. A mummy. There we go. A nymph. Oh, they can. I wonder if nymphs are considered evil in this game. Nymphs are usually kind of neutral. Saber-toothed tiger. Skeleton. I could have swore the skeletons were included in one of the other in the core book, because I think the core book had just a handful of monsters. I could have swore skeleton was one of them. I'm probably wrong. A snow lurker. A swamp rake. This looks like some sort of a baboon, an evil, toothy baboon there. White Harrier. So it seems the way the breakdown is, it kind of gives you a bit of a what is this monster? What is this creature? Where are you going to find these creatures? And what kind of environment, way of life is basically what it's saying here. So it's kind of talking about how do these creatures go about kind of their daily lives almost. A wolf lizard. There's a yeti. It doesn't look too evil. It just looks like you might be in a bad mood. It doesn't look like he's attacking anybody there. It just looks kind of like, what's going on? Zombie. Alright, now we've got the animals. Here we go. So we got an alligator. Now looks like they're just going to devote one page to each. So we got an alligator badger. Stop badgering me! A bird spider? Okay. A barracuda? Wouldn't that be a barracuda? I don't seem to recall Hart playing the song Barracuda. I don't know. Maybe they're just called by something different in Europe. Barracuda is a barracuda. I don't know. So we got a camel, constrictor snake, crowned stag. Why they can't get away with that stag word there, huh? All right, a deer, donkey, horned saurian, I should say. Oh, so I guess we're considering dinosaurs just like everyday creatures. Jaguar, Karen, which is kind of, isn't that like almost like an elk? I don't think it's a moose. I think it's more like an elk. Vulture. Another different snake. An adder. The black adder? What? No, it's not Rowan Atkinson. Okay, so we got a mammoth. Cattle. Ostrich. Piranha. Red fox. No, we're not talking about Sanford and Son. Royal eagle, a striped shark, a skunk. Really? Doing a stat block on a skunk? That's a little odd. It's like not a giant skunk either. It's just a skunk. Storm falcon, a swamp leech, vampire bat, war dog. Ooh, that looks pretty nasty. coming at you. It's coming right at us. A woolly rhinoceros, yellow-tailed scorpion. I wonder if this is kind of like more like a giant scorpion. Oh. Then we got an appendix talking about new advantages, new disadvantages for the characters. Oops. Making use of quarry? Huh. Cool. Well, yeah, hunting, meat. That makes sense, right? Nice. Pretty cool. Additional rules, strength ratings for tiny creatures. Diseases. Talking about like rabies. Wound fever. General rules for creature types. We're talking about chimeras. About fairies, about ghosts, about the undead. Ah, nice. Cool. And I could have swore I just saw... Where was it hiding? It's not a book from Ulisses North America without... There we go. The bookmark. There you go. Nice. Very nicely done. This is a very, very well presented book. Like I said, it's a couple of pieces of art I was kind of like, eh. But I know there was a lot of discussion where people were like, yeah, there's not enough creatures, not enough monsters for the Dark Eye to really be able to run the Dark Eye. Well, that's not true. The bestiary is available. It's a little slimmer than you would see with most like monster manuals, things like that. Most bestiaries that you like, primary bestiaries, I should say, for some of the fantasy games out there. But one thing that the Dark Eye is fantastical. It's a fantasy RPG, and it kind of high fantasy, but they're, to me, from what I've seen, and I am not the most well-versed person in the Dark Eye by any stretch. I've only gone and read the core book. I've been reading the almanac. It is not like overflowing with monsters and various creatures and tons of magic and things like that. It's just not that kind of setting. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty nice. And you can pick up the hardcover, as I mentioned before, for $29.99. You can snag the pocket edition for $19.99, and it is available in PDF as well for $10.49 from my pals over at Drive-Thru RPG. And as usual, when I mention Drive-Thru RPG, please keep in mind that you, if you are going to visit the site, stop by thegaminggang.com first, click on one of our banners, and we'll actually get a small portion of any sale that you might make at one of the drive-thru sites. So there you have it. That is the Aventuria Bestiary. So those of you out there who were like, oh, there's no monsters, there's no creatures. Well, yeah, there are. It is available. The book is out. The PDF is out. It's, I don't know what people's local, their friendly local game stores are like. Some places may not actually be, stocking Ulisses North America gaming books. So it might be in your best interest. If your local game store doesn't carry it, say, hey, you should reach out to these guys. I'd like to be able to pick up some of this stuff. Otherwise, don't be afraid to resort to an online retailer to purchase your gaming materials. Somebody busted my chops about me talking about me sticking up for online retailers, and it's sort of like, why wouldn't I? I'm not saying that you don't go to your friendly local game store. I'm not saying don't support your friendly local game store, but if your game store stinks or you don't have one, what are you supposed to do? Go without? Ridiculous. All right, anyway, that is today's show. So, when you're not watching The Daily Dope, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. As I already mentioned, no show tomorrow. Fingers crossed that I've got a show on Friday. I will tweet out what's cooking for Friday, if there's going to be a show or not. But regardless, I kind of want to, because it's June 1st. I want to, do a show for the first day of the month. But you never know. Anywho, regardless, I will certainly be back on Monday. Although I have to point out, as we start getting, now it's convention season, you're going to see kind of changes as far as the Daily Dope. Especially like if I'm at Origins, Gen Con, San Diego Comic-Con, things like that. There's no way that there's going to be a daily show in the format that you're used to seeing right now. That doesn't mean that there's not going to be daily videos available from coverage for the different conventions. Maybe, maybe not. All depends. We'll have to see what happens. Anywho, I will at least, I know for certain I will be back on Monday. So until then, once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and as always, thanks so much for watching. Thanks again for watching The Daily Dope, presented by The Gaming Gang. If you like this episode, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. And if you dig the channel, please subscribe. If you'd like to check out our previous episode, click right here. And if you want to check out a somewhat randomly selected episode, give a click right down here. It'll be like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You just don't know what you'll get. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'm Jeff McAleer.